Hello and welcome to Bosch DIY Live. I'm Chris.
And I'm Danny. And today on the Q&A we have Sophie.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'll be hosting the Q&A today. Don't be shy, pop any questions you have down below and we'll answer as many as possible.
That's right. So today's topic on this live stream for DIY is we decided, look, it's the beginning of a new season. The sun's been shining. Hopefully you've been enjoying the lovely weather. I definitely have. I've got somewhat of a tan for once.
You're getting some of your colour back, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's been a very, very cold winter. So the grass is growing. Hopefully you've done the necessary procedures of getting your line trimmers out there, getting the grass down to a manageable level before going out there and doing some lawn mowing. So we thought, because we've got a new range of lawnmowers, Danny,
Yes.
we thought we would do a short introduction into some of the new lawnmowers that we've brought to the range for the mains machines, as well as you can see, there's quite a few things that we call handy helpers, right?
Yeah, there's plenty for us to talk about.
So what should we do first?
I think we should look at this this video we have on, we obviously popped outside to do a little bit of filming, on our new range of corded mowers.
So let's play the video. Okay, let's look at the first machine in the range. This is the EasyRotak 32-255. These two machines are part of the Universal range, so the UniversalRotak 34410, the UniversalRotak 37565, and these two final machines are part of the Advanced range. This first one is the AdvancedRotak 40-650, and then we have the AdvancedRotak 47750. So the first machine I've got in front of me here is the EasyRotak 32225. This machine features a 32cm blade. Like all Rotaks, this features are grass combs on the side, and you can see that the wheels are inset from the grass combs. This allows the mower to run up against the wall, for example, pulling the grass material into that cutting bowl. The machine features a 1200 watt motor, a 31 litre grass box, and has 3 different settings for height of cut, from 25mm up to 65mm. Another good feature of the EasyRotak, it is nice and lightweight, coming in at only 10 kilograms, so easy to get in and out of your garden. When you finish mowing the lawn or at the end of season, it's very simple to fold the handles down using these quick release wing nuts. The machine I've got here is the UniversalRotak 34410. This is a 34cm blade machine. It has a 40 litre grass box and it is able to output 1300 watts of power. Height adjustment lever on the side here, which is very easy to use and allows you to have 5 different height settings that go from 25mm up to a maximum cut of 70mm. The mower features the same grass combs as all machines, and in addition has the ability to quickly fold the handles, ready for storage. So next machine up is the UniversalRotak 37565. We've gone now from 34cm up to a 37cm blade for obviously a wider cut. The machine is now a 1400 watt machine featuring the same 40 litre grass box. It has the same grass combs as the previous models and also has the same easy to fold handles. It has the same lever operated height of cut, allowing you to go from that 70mm down to 25mm. One significant difference between the previous UniversalRotak and this UniversalRotak 37 is the addition of the ErgoFlex handles. Now we've designed these obviously to be more comfortable, but they also do help reduce fatigue and potentially can reduce, say, lower back pain if you are mowing for a long period of time. So you see here we have the safety switch in the front. In order to operate the mower, simply press this down first and then press any one of the 4 triggers on the handle. Once you've held one down, then you can return your other arm and start mowing. Now onto the first AdvancedRotak. This is the AdvancedRotak 40-650 with a 40cm blade and a 1700 watt motor. Features a 50 litre now fabric grass box with a full indicator for extra convenience. The AdvancedRotak has 7 different height of cut settings that can be adjusted from 80mm down to 25mm. Changing height is really straightforward. A simple button on the top here and a handle for extra convenience and a little gauge on the side that shows you which setting you're at. Simply depress the button and either push or pull the mower up to the desired height. As you can imagine, grass combs on the outside of the machine and also has a quick height adjustment, telescoping handle and also the ability to very quickly and easily fold the handles down as simple as that. And finally, the AdvancedRotak features our ErgoFlex handle, which obviously are more comfortable, helping to reduce fatigue. So this is the final machine in the range. This is the AdvancedRotak 44-750. This is our top of the range machine with a 44cm blade. It is designed for the larger gardens. It has a 50-litre box, fabric with the full indicator like the previous Advanced machine. It also features those 7 height adjustment settings from 80mm down to 25mm. Easy to adjust down to the minimum setting there, one-handed, very easily. It features the same telescopic handle and easy to fold over system, the same ErgoFlex handle as the previous Advanced machine. However, as you can see, you have the ability here to remove the cable for either easy storage or easy replacement of the cable in the case of an accident. So now that we've looked at each individual mower, I put them back in a line here. So what we can do is we can have a look at how, as you step up through each different model, up through the performance levels, you get a far better machine with also those added features and benefits that makes your mowing experience far more comfortable. The EasyRotak is obviously a good, cost-effective way of getting a mower. There are some great benefits to it, however there are some limitations, especially when it comes to height adjustment. As you move to the universal model, that's one of the things you'll notice immediately. With the quick adjustment lever, that makes changing height of cut an absolute breeze. Another benefit with the universal machines, other than obviously the larger cutting diameter, is the easy to fold handle. So when you're finishing your mowing or at the end of the season, you can easily pack that down. One significant difference with the UniversalRotak 37 obviously is now the addition of those ErgoFlex handles. If we move to the advanced machines, you obviously get far more powerful machines with a much bigger blade and obviously a wider breadth of cuts. A great feature you find with the advanced machines, both advanced machines, is the one button, simple, effortless way of changing the height of cuts. And then finally, another really great feature with both of the advanced machines is going to be the 50-litre grass box, but being fabric means, again, at the end of your application or at the end of the season, it packs down really nice and small, meaning it doesn't take up too much space when you're storing in your shed. Well, I don't know, Danny. I think I did a pretty good job of summarising those 5 machines.
Quite a lot to talk about with them. Yeah, some really interesting specs on those as well. Again, it's not always necessary to have a cordless mower. They are great. However, on smaller gardens, even on some larger gardens, if you've got power available to you, then a corded mower is perfect.
That's right, yeah. I mean, as we saw in that video, there's a wide range of different price points and performance benefits.
Exactly.
From my perspective, there's many of the features on the UniversalRotaks that I really like. The quick height adjustment change is really great on those universal models, but really nothing is like the ease of use on that advanced model.
Exactly, yeah.
Again, we made a mention earlier in the live stream about, often we have people that, let's just say they're a little bit enthusiastic when they start their mowing season, right?
That's it, yeah. I mean, we do get people who say, especially with more of the entry-level machines, for instance, would start the cut on a low setting. I think it's just to get away from having to do the job kind of twice if you're going to do a longer cut and then cut it to its final length.
You're asking a lot.
Asking a lot of anything to really go in first cut of the season, some really heavy, long grass. So yeah, usually height of cut at the highest setting first, and then give the machine a chance.
That's right, and I feel like that's one of the most regularly used features on a mower will actually be that height cut adjustment.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a bit of a sad person, but I like to just take it down a little bit, do a quick pass. I don't have a big lawn, so it's not a problem for me. Take it off a little bit, and then once you're down there at the lowest setting, then all you're doing is you're maintaining that grass height for the season.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to grow much week from week, so then you can keep on top of it. So it's an easy job.
Yeah, another feature I really like, particularly about the UniversalRotak, is that fabric grass box.
Yes.
Just the fact that it's so easy to pack down. Even I don't have a really large garden. I don't have a really large space to store my mower, so I have to pack it down every time. And just again, because I've got the convenience of using a fabric grass box, means if I did have that mower, I can imagine that'd be really easy to pack.
You're folding it almost flat.
Yeah, exactly. With the Universals, that quick release handle system, again, that makes it a lot easier. Even though you can't easily pack down the plastic grass box as easily as the Advanced, they're all really great benefits.
But the bifold handle makes it really, really easy.
I think you saw in the video, literally just flick them out, pop the handles in a little bit, and basically it collapses itself after you've loosened the top wing nuts.
That's it. The box is designed to split in two nice and easy with two separate catches, fits inside each other, and then fits on top of the machine as well, giving you a really compact pack down size.
And something we don't talk about that often is the grass combs.
Yes.
Excuse me. Mentioned it on the video there, but that really helps, especially if you're working up against
walls, basically,
or a fence, or on the side of a path, for example. You can get really up close.
Yeah, it draws the grass into the actual cutting dome underneath, allowing for almost up to the edge cutting. So on some occasions, you not necessarily even need a grass trimmer.
So, Sophie, we went blitzing straight into this live stream.
We did.
Let's see, have we got anyone on the anyone in the chat? Any questions already, maybe?
No, nothing yet. Guys, if you're watching, then comment down below any questions. But no, for the minute, doing perfect.
That's good. That means we're probably doing a good job. That means that video of mine was outstanding and answered all the questions, I'm sure. Bear in mind, obviously, we are looking at the Rotak and the Mower range, but we're also going to have a look at a large number of the smaller, we call them handy helper, little tools that help every day, really, around the house, from simple things like putting up some shelving, maybe even just inflating your bike ready for a little summer ride.
That's it, yeah.
So if there are any questions about those tools, feel free to ask them at any point. Sophie will pass them to us. And actually, maybe perhaps you might have some questions about some other DIY machines. Feel free again to ask us any questions on any of the products across the entirety of the DIY product range. Maybe you've got some accessory questions. You might want to know what might be the right accessory to do whatever DIY project you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
or even a shout out. Just shout your name out.
That's right,
We'll give you a call out on there.
Yeah, feel free. Remember, this is your opportunity to ask Bosch DIY any of your questions. Now, Danny and I are trainers. We know a bit. We may not be able to answer every single one of your questions, but sure, we can have a good go at it. And if not, we can find out the answer and pop it in the comments after this live stream.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, well, we can summarize a little bit about the mowers, because we talked about some of the main features that we see as you progress up through the performance range and obviously the price range. As you spend a little bit more money, you get a lot more features and benefits, and you get a lot more things that make your mowing experience a bit more comfortable.
Exactly.
One of the things that I've talked about is the fact that I really like the ability to change the height of cut on the Universal and the Advanced models. But plenty of people out there have the EasyRotak and have some feedback in regard to that model, right?
Yeah, the 32 centimetre cut range has been around for a long time now. It's a nice sweet spot when it comes to smaller garden care. However, with this machine, you don't have such an easy, straightforward height of cut mechanism. I've actually got the machine down here. Here's one I made earlier.
Very nice.
There.
I can tell you made it earlier because it's pristine and clean.
It is very, very clean. There you go. So hopefully we can get that on the close-up camera just here, where you can see just inside there, if I try and get the angle, there's 3 different height settings in there. A lot of people will tend to put their hand inside here and try to pull it forward.
From this bar. If you tilt it forward a little bit, you'll show the bar.
From the bar in there. So so they'll put their hand in there, pull the bar forward and try and locate it in the actual slots there. It's much, much easier if you just hold the front of the machine and push the wheel forward and then adjust the height of cut from there.
That's right, yeah. You can probably see it. Obviously, it's black on black, but you'll see there's like an E shape here with the 3 different height adjustments that you've got, from 20 to 60 millimeters.
There you go. So that's the highest cut setting there.
And then you'd repeat it on the other wheel. It's easier, as you say there, Dan, to hold the wheel one at a time to make the adjustments.
There you go. So quite straightforward like that. And the same on the back as well. Don't try and get your hand in there to operate the axle. It's a lot easier just to move the wheel and hold it onto the housing.
So Okay, yes, obviously it's a far more rudimentary mechanism, but again, nothing wrong with the system we have on the EasyRotak. It just requires a little bit more patience compared to obviously the far more, that's how we say it, easy, user-friendly system we've got on the Universals and the advanced models.
Yeah.
But don't let that take away from the performance of this machine.
Not at all.
It's an outstanding machine, ideal for those smaller gardens.
So, yeah, no, great bit of kit.
Okay, right. Just to summarise the last little points about the corded mower range that we've got, and obviously this does reflect on many of the cordless models too, is things like the handles, for example. And one thing that I mentioned in the video was the Ergo Flex handles, which again is a really, really comfortable handle system to use.
Yes, yes.
Important to note. Sometimes, and you know where I'm going with this, aren't you?
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Sometimes we've had some feedback. Do read the instructions and do bear in mind there is a possibility you might have put those handles upside down.
Yes.
If you've got excruciating back pain, it's not normal.
No.
You've got the handles upside down.
Yes, quite often. Yes.
Yeah, but otherwise, as I say, it's a very comfortable system. Nice little safety in the side with any of those 4 triggers, and a really nice. I think it's quite a neutral way of holding the system. That's why we have it on the UniversalRotak 37 all the way through to the Rotak 40 and the AdvancedRotak 44.
Yeah, they're called the ergo handles for a reason, because they are really ergonomic, really comfortable to use.
Now,
so you don't have to grip the buttons all of the time. Your hands just naturally rest there.
That's right. So if you have an opportunity to go and see some of these machines in the flesh, I really welcome you going down there. Feel free to have a try of some of the competitor mowers out there. Have a try of some of the other Rotaks, like the UniversalRotak 34, maybe the EasyRotak, and then have a go with some of the models with that Ergo Flex handles. And let us know what you think, because I think genuinely that will really make your mowing experience much more comfortable. So, Sophie, maybe some questions?
Yes. So, someone has asked, is there a mulch plug needed?
I think on the AdvancedRotak, yes. It doesn't come with the machine, but you can buy it as an additional accessory. The Universals, I think you can as well. I'm not sure about the EasyRotak though. I don't think so. Not on a machine that size.
And again, for those who aren't familiar, a mulching plug is a useful accessory to have, especially if you want to maintain the health of your lawn.
That's it, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't use a mulching plug. Basically, it plugs the back of the machine to prevent the grass clippings from entering the grass box or being left behind. And it feeds them back into the blades to be mulched down and feed the grass. You'd only use something like that if you're doing regular cutting and very small grass clippings. If you were to use it with longer grass clippings, you run the risk of causing thatching in the lawn, which will basically sit the grass on top, and that will negatively affect your.
You want the little clippings to get past the grass blades and into the soil to break down.
Yeah, you don't want a canopy of grass clippings that's going to starve sunlight away from your grass.
Yeah, so it's a good question. What we could probably do is after this live stream, we could double check, and maybe we can put a link in the comments below to take them to the relevant accessories for the relevant machines.
Yeah, historically, mulching plugs is something that we've always offered across our range of machines.
Okay, any more questions, Sophie? Or is that okay? Good. Well, I mean, hopefully that means we've covered all the necessary information that we needed to on this new range of corded mowers. Let us know if you'd like us to do the same for the cordless range of mowers, or maybe you'd like us to do a more expansive view, looking at some different machines in the range. We had and ahed whether or not we wanted to maybe include some of the trimmers, the line trimmers as well, because that is probably, as I said at the beginning of my intro, probably the first stage of doing your lawn care.
Yes, it is, yeah. We can also cover fitting and replacing spools, things like that as well, which always can be a little bit confusing when it comes to grass trimmers. So,
that's right.
Again, hold that one back maybe for another live stream.
That's right, yes. And we took the opportunity while we were out there on a nice sunny afternoon to film some extra content showing you exactly how to build and construct all these lawnmowers. Yes. I'll be honest, I think they're really easy, to be honest. It wasn't very difficult. I didn't even use the instruction manual. Well, obviously I recommend you do, but I'm a professional. Apparently. So obviously we did some videos showing you exactly how to put all the different mowers together, showing you how simple they are, how very little tools you need, showing you some pro tips about where the extra wheels are stored.
Yes.
We've obviously made that very clear in some of the packaging to make sure that when you get your lawnmowers, often the wheels, especially the rear wheels, will be stored nice and compactly inside the grass box.
I counted 3 separate instructions about
3 separate labels saying they're in here, they're in here, they're in here. But sometimes, unfortunately, they're still missed because they're packed so flat, you wouldn't even suspect it. So to prevent you accidentally thinking you've received a machine incomplete, trust me, they're in there somewhere.
They're in there,
you'll find them. They're always in the grass box, nicely packed in. But again, if that's useful, maybe we'll put those videos out showing you exactly how to construct all 5 of those machines that I presented. So you let us know. Maybe we'll do a live stream on that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next section. So we've looked at the lawnmowers. However, we thought, as this is a live stream also based around some of those handy helpers, these smaller machines, we could have a look at a small range of tools that I think are very popular and very useful for just generally all year round, to be honest.
That's it, yeah. If it's coming down to either a little bit of hedge trimming, a little bit of grass trimming, or even topiary, for instance, for shaping hedges, that sort of thing, then something like the AdvancedShear will be the way to go.
That's right.
Obviously, we do a range of the machines that are similar. Which one did you want to go for first?
Well, let's go for the AdvancedShear first. Now, this is an 18-volt machine, and this live stream isn't really looking at the heavier duty 18-volt machines. But we thought it would be quite useful to show what the options are, because the handy helpers tend to be much smaller machines, say 3.6-volt machines, and machines that have an integral battery. So you don't have to worry about having a separate battery and charger. Here's a great example of something that's useful as, I mean, you could use it in this orientation as a nice little small, well, I call it like a little mini hedge cutter, to be honest.
Yes.
But it does come with an additional accessory. Yeah, you've got it there.
There you go.
So you've done your mowing. Maybe you need to do a little bit of tidy work on the edging.
That's it. Yeah. So we have a little shape and edge tool here. Basically, this clips quite easily onto the bottom of the machine, like that. So it's really easy to change accessories on this. And that gives you the ability to cut close up to the edge. You can also use this on hedges as well. It's nice, easy.
Yeah, it's just shorter, a bit more controlling.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, that's primarily what we use for lawn edging. Mate, if it cuts, it cuts.
This is also available with this. There's an accessory for a telescopic pole, which this clips into with wheels on it as well. So even if you don't have the ability to bend down or stoop over to operate this, you can use it whilst walking. To do exactly the same flexible job with it.
That's right. So the AdvancedShear 18V, a great product with the ability to use a external 18-volt battery, so you can use that with any of your other 18-volt products. Okay. Spec-wise, I don't know if we need to go into too much detail. I mean, you've got your, I think that's a 200mm blade on there, and obviously the shorter blade length on the grass shear here is 100mm. Yeah. Maximum tooth opening is going to be 8mm, so just bear that in mind when you're using this in applications. Yeah.
For grass, absolutely no problem with that. You're not going to get any grass that sort of size anyway. When it comes to hedge trimming, again, it's for light duty work, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so. But as it is an advanced machine, it still features that Syneon technology.
It does,
so it will make sure that you're running your battery super efficiently. It's not going to waste energy. It's only going to use the energy it needs to do the application at any one time.
You're going to get the most out of the batteries.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's pop a battery on it. Let's just show how the operation works, because again, we've made sure it's nice and safe, so you don't have to worry about accidentally activating the machine with a nice safety on the top. There
you go. So on the top here, we have a timed out activation. So if I press that, the light will come on. It will time out and go back out again.
So will not work.
It won't work at that point. So if I press that, then the trigger's live, and I can operate the machine. Once it's released, it'll time out again, and it's not going to work again. So basically, that there is your safety switch.
I think whenever we've done some demonstrations on this, sometimes this has caused a little bit of confusion, because I think they think it's a simple click and switch. I've always struggled sometimes to work out how it doesn't work, but it's easy sometimes to realise that you need to hold it down for a certain amount of time to unlock the tool first.
So the light stays on,
and
then away you go.
So you don't want to just touch it and press it, because we don't want it to accidentally activate if you were to drop it, for example, or you're not aware of what you're doing. You want to have a deliberate press before the machine's in operation.
So the telescopic handle fits in exactly the same place as the battery, allowing you to relocate the battery up behind the machine itself. And the handle for the pole is exactly the same as this. So that handle speaks to the machine, same lockout, same mechanism, just at a slightly higher height.
Now, something I neglected to bring into the studio to demonstrate is I thought I'd bring a little bit of a twig to show you one of the Bosch USBs that actually is on pretty much all our hedge cutters in the DIY range, which is we have an anti-blocking system. We call it ABS. Not on your car. The anti-blocking system, that means that if, for example, you're trying to cut something that might be particularly hard, or thick, or maybe too thick for the machine. Instead of the machine stalling and then you're having to try and fiddle it out or try and get the machine to restart, the machine will automatically engage this ABS system and it will reverse the direction of the blade, and essentially it will slowly chop through the material that you're stuck in.
It kind of works like a clutch, where it will just tap away at the branch until it makes its way through.
So we've got that on pretty much, I say pretty much, it is on all our Bosch hedge cutters. And even though this isn't technically a hedge cutter, we've implemented that ABS even on the AdvancedShear 18.
Yeah. So.
Okay, moving on to the product I kind of really wanted to talk about, but we wanted to frame it with the AdvancedShear, is another product that looks very similar, Danny.
Yes, I believe I've got this one here as well. This is the ISIO shape and edge here. So this again comes with two similar blades, a longer blade, and as we've got fitted to this one here, we have the fan cutting blade for grass. Again, glass or box hedges, anything like that. Very similar operation. The foot plate comes off the bottom. Replace it with the longer one. Except this one charges slightly different, doesn't it?
Yes. So we made a comment earlier that with the AdvancedShear 18V, it's in the name, this uses a external 18-volt battery. Now this is great, especially if you want to buy into a system of power tools and lawn and garden products and a whole wide range of different products that run on the Bosch DIY lithium-ion battery platform. But perhaps maybe you're not decided, not sure yet, or maybe you just don't want to buy into an 18-volt platform.
Or even need that power.
Yeah, you may not need it. So maybe you don't need that power. So we have many other options. And as this is an integral battery machine, you don't have to have separate batteries and chargers. You just have to have, well, you need a charging cable, but you don't need a battery and charger, sorry. You can have integral battery, you plug that into the wall with the charger, and then you charge up the internal battery, and then away to go. It's as simple as that. And you'll see with many of the other handy helper machines that we've got here, you don't need an external battery. It's all internal, making things a lot easier, less things to worry about storing. You just want a machine to charge and get going. And another advantage is because this is lithium-ion technology, you don't have to worry about these machines losing charge over time.
No, that's it. They will hold a charge for a very long time. You're looking like 1% of battery charge per month.
Yes.
Or something like that. So yeah, it's if you put them away on the shelf, one end of the year, they're still going to be holding a charge when it comes around to next spring.
That's right. And even if you were to deplete battery, maybe you'd used it quite a lot, trust me, you can pop it on charge, have a little cup of tea. You probably need a break after one of the, if you've drained a battery in one go, you probably want a break anyway. Just pop it on charge, have a cuppa. By the time you finish a nice brew and some bickies, showing my age, after you've had some biscuits and some tea, that machine's ready to go again.
Exactly.
Yeah, trust me, I reckon the machine will outlast me in my middle age. So, comes, I think have you mentioned already, obviously it comes with the shorter blade, but just like the Advanced, you get a longer blade as well.
Yeah, and again, they're laser cut and diamond ground, so you're getting the best quality blades you can.
That's right. So you've got an 80mm shrub or grass shear blade, and then with the equivalent, what should we say, normal
hedge
cutting blade, then you're looking, I think it's 12. 120mm on the longer blade. Not this one, but a similar one that fits this particular model.
Yeah.
So you've got two options there for different DIY products for, I don't know, shaping and edges. It's just like in the name.
That's it. Yeah. Just for tidying things up.
Important to note that even though this is a much smaller machine, this will also feature that ABS system, that anti-blocking system. So even if you're buying a smaller, less heavy-duty performing machine, perhaps, we're still giving you those Bosch features and benefits that we'd have in even the top-of-the-range DIY products.
If I'm not mistaken, actually, there's a telescopic handle for this as well.
There is?
Yeah.
Especially if you don't want to bend down or if you've got a lot of edging to do. Same here too. Yeah. Okay, so we'll pause for a second, see whether or not we've got anyone in the chat. Sophie, what do you reckon? Maybe not any questions, but have we got anyone in the chat? Maybe they're talking amongst themselves, maybe, or is it nice and quiet?
It's quite quiet at the minute, but we do have a question from Unknown Gaming. How about cleaning the deck from grass? So that's in reference to the earlier lawnmowers?
Cleaning the mower deck.
Yes.
I mean, they are not waterproof, but they are obviously, technically speaking, obviously mowing. You're not supposed to be mowing in the rain anyway. It's not good for It's not good for the cut, to be honest, is it?
No.
Now, the machines themselves, I would mean you could just use a little light brush. You could use one of our leaf blowers to blow the grass off, perhaps.
Yep. Usually, I would tend to brush the grass away from the top of the mower. But when it comes to the grass underneath, you've got a couple of options. If obviously you've cut the grass and it's quite damp, or there's been a lot of moisture in the grass, it's quite easy to sort of brush it out.
Once you've unplugged it.
Once you've unplugged it, do not put your hands obviously in the cutting bowl, but brush that out. If not, if it's particularly dry or you haven't cleaned it the last time you used it, usually it's quite easy to get the grass out once it's dried, and then it tends to fall out really, because it's quite gloss-like inside the cutting bowl, so there's not really much surface for it to stick.
No, but that's a valid point. Obviously, it's more about the inside of the bowl. The outside's good, obviously, to keep that maintained.
Yeah,
but obviously,
leaf blower's perfect for that.
Exactly.
If you got one of those, just.
But if obviously, as Danny says, it's really a really good idea, especially maybe even after you've cut. I mean, it's that extra little help, but it's always a good idea to clean any of the grass. And there's not going to be much grass stuck in there. If it's wet and moist, yeah, maybe. But generally speaking, the Bosch Rotaks are really good at getting the grass cut and into the grass box.
Yeah.
So you're unlikely to get it blocking unless you're cutting really long grass. But
some of the blades now have actually got teeth on the end that actually clean the inside of the bowl to a certain degree, so they prevent an excess amount of build-up.
Yes.
So.
But either way, I'd always encourage, every now and then, I would probably do it after every one, just if I pick up the mower and pop it into I don't have a shed, I've got a little storage box. I'll have a quick look, just take it out and then make sure that it's not going to build up over time, mostly because I don't want the old dead grass in my storage box getting all mouldy and stuff. So, yeah.
Same thing goes for hedge trimmers, for instance. Give them a brush down after you've finished them. Maybe a little bit of a spray with maintenance spray as well, especially if you're cutting laurel. Laurel sap will dry almost hard as cement, really. Kind of glues it all together. You'd end up having to replace blades if that sort of comes about.
Yeah, I'd apply same logic here, even for the hedge cutters, but also these little, the ISIO and obviously the AdvancedShear. Give them a little bit of TLC every now and then, and they'll last a lifetime.
We have a water-based maintenance spray, non-CFC one as well, with a little pump handle.
Yeah.
Perfect for this. Well, it's designed specifically for these, so yeah.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully that answered your question there. So we'll move on to the next section because, well, we've got quite a few tools to talk about, and we don't want to dwell too much. But there are other tools that might not necessarally be lawn and garden based. No. And this is something that we both have one of these. I know.
Yes,
we do.
yes.
And I think I probably use this. I could almost use it daily. Right. It's coming up to that season where I'm sure everyone's getting their bikes out. Maybe you're pumping up your bikes, maybe the kids' bikes. You've left them for winter. They've gone nice and soft and flat. And you're starting your first ride of the season. Nothing more demotivating than getting your bikes out of the shed and then going...
Or even if you're out on a ride, for instance, and you get a flat.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So let me get the... who's got it? Have you got it? I've got it.
You've got it just there.
I've got it in this kit, but I'm going to take it out just so I can show you the main machine.
I have obviously do a bit of cycling from time to time, but there's actually a bag there that you can fit on your bike that holds this, so you can take it with you. There you go.
But this is the core machine itself. This is the EasyPump. I mean, guess what it does, Dan?
It pumps.
It pumps it easily.
Yes.
That's right, yes. So this is the EasyPump, and this is a 3.6 volt internal battery inflator.
Yeah.
Well, I can't call it inflator. It's more of a high pressure pump. Right? Mustn't get my terminology mixed up. I mean, there's a lot to love about this machine. Control-wise, it's got a simple little on-off button there. Now, it might be hard for you to see on some of those because I'll pop it that way so you can see, because it's a very reflective screen there. You can see you've got a really nice, I don't know if it's OLED, but it's a definitely very nice screen there.
Yes.
Okay, very easy to read. It's a negative screen, so you can see that it's white on black. You have your little controls for changing the pressure. What have I got it set to? I've got it set to PSI. I want to change it. Who's trying to pump up 150? Someone's got a road bike. I can pump that preset down. Let's put it to something more reasonable. Say, for example, let's go down to the 20. So
it gives you pounds per square inch, obviously PSI. It gives you a bar as well. And it also, I believe it's got kilopascals on there as well.
It does. There's kilopascals.
Yep.
Should we see if the overhead camera's working? Maybe it would be easier for me to hold it this way. So, there we go. Nice. Let me just move it into shot.
A bit, right a bit. There you go.
That might be a bit easier to see. So different units. That's your kilopascals. There's your bar, and then there's your PSI. On the top there, you've got your preset value, and I can adjust that with the plus and minus button. Oh, there's a lot of studio lights in the way. Okay, and obviously that saves that setting. So if I switch the machine off, it will once I've used it, it will keep that as a preset value. It's got a nice little stop-start button. Excuse me. And then obviously that starts the pumping. And I've also got a little light on the front here. Let's see if I can get that to work.
Yeah, you hold. There you go.
Okay. So that, honestly, as I said, that has got me out of all kinds of shenanigans. If I'm stuck on if I was, say, for example, stuck on the side of the road, maybe I've got a slow puncher, I can't find the valve, a little light just to help me. Even if I didn't need it to find the tire, maybe I'll use it for something else. Having a nice little torch in the car is great. That in the boot, find the valve, pump it up to pressure and get somewhere and get that sorted. To
be fair, we say this is good for cycling. When I'm not using it for cycling, I pop it in the boot of the car. Because it will pump up a tyre from flat.
And quite easily, yes.
Quite easily.
I haven't tested it, but I'll be honest, I have... Don't quote me on this one, okay, but I have pumped up all 4 of my car tyres basically from flat on a single charge. I was really impressed with that. Now, I'm not saying that it should do that every time, but it really got me out of a pickle. All I need to do is get the tyres up to a bit of pressure so I could move it. It was an old car. But that got me out of, well, I otherwise would have had to pump that manually, and I'm like, no. So I use this instead. Let's cut to the close-up camera. You'll see there's a nice little window on the side here that I can open. And you can see you've got all your little accessories in there. You've got your, I don't know what you call that, it's like a toy inflator for your balls and stuff.
Your inflator for, like you said, beach balls.
Beach balls, yeah. Okay, let me take them all out one at a time. You'll have your needle accessory for footballs and stuff, And then you've got, as you see on this, you've got your standard valve for your car tyres. And
that's your Schrader adapter. You can have it screw onto the actual Schrader adapter, or you can fit this accessory on the end, which allows you to clip it on.
Yes, or you have, I think it's your Presta. There's another
Presta,
for different kinds of valves for different bikes. Maybe some road bikes.
Bike one,
Yeah, I've got that on my mountain bike. But yes, road bikes also have that too. As Danny pointed out, this accessory comes as well. On some executions, you can also buy this as an optional accessory. So instead of having to thread that onto your normal valve, you can use that to basically clamp on top.
I've never had any problems with actually threading it onto the valve. However, having that little accessory on the end there is an absolute game changer. It's so much quicker.
Much faster for sure. Oh, anything else? Okay, yes, last little point. You can see on the back there. Okay. USB-C charging.
Yes.
Very straightforward, very easy. Nowadays, I'm pretty sure most people have something in their house that is USB-C, whether it's your smartphone or, well, it could be anything nowadays. It could be your e-reader, it could be your laptop. There's plenty of USB-C accessories, but we supply a USB cable in the kit.
It's a USB-A to USB-C.
That's right. There you go. But this is more than happy to run any USB-C cable to charge. Really great little product. Again, don't let it limit you to just pumping up your car tires, your bike tires. You can find other things around the house to use this. And that's why, again, this is probably one of my favorite and the first of many handy helpers that we want to talk about today.
Don't be fooled by its small size. Really, really useful bit of kit.
Okay, let's move. Well, let's do an honourable mention in a minute.
Yes.
But first, we'll see if Sophie's got any questions. What have you got, Sophie?
Hi. So, we do have a question. Going back to the lawnmowers, do you need a water jet, some sort of pressure washer to wash out the deck?
No.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Definitely not. No.
Don't need it, or would we? No. We wouldn't really recommend it.
No, wouldn't recommend anything. Not adding any moisture to it that isn't already there with the grass, obviously. It's like with our pressure washers, there's a sign on the side that says don't pressure wash your dog. It's probably because someone has, and it has caused some damage in the past. So, no, do not apply pressure or any water, in fact, to an electrical product.
Yes, of course, you're there. Obviously, the motor is located in that area. It's a plastic bowl, so you don't want to be using high pressure. You might damage that.
You've still got you have a sealed bearing underneath. On these mowers, but however, you don't want to be forcing water into that anyway. So,
and in my opinion, it's just going to make a mess.
Yeah.
As Danny pointed out, it's far better if you're able to just let it dry, and then it just falls out. You use a dry brush.
Yeah. It's not grained or anything in there, so it's quite a slick material to just get stuff out.
Any other questions, Soph? Okay, so last little points on the EasyPump. From a technical perspective, if you are interested, I think we've got a run time of around 20 minutes per charge. That's a long time for a little 3.6 volt machine. And it's got basically a output value of around 10 litres per minute. Okay, remember this is a high pressure, this is not an inflator.
Yep.
Stay tuned, we'll show you some inflators.
High pressure, low volume.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But again, for a little tool, only 400 grams, 0.043 per kilogram. It's a good little action. Yeah. But what happens if you want something a little bit more powerful, Dan?
Well, we also do an advanced version of this. We have the advanced pump. This one here. This one doesn't actually have a internal batteries on it. This has the 18-volt battery. So this is on the 18-volt battery platform.
So what? The UniversalPump 18.
Yes.
Cool.
Not the advanced. I keep getting the advanced one on this.
No, I don't think I missed. I just repeating the name.
No, I got it wrong. Yeah, Universal Pump 18.
Now, one big difference here, I guess, is power. Power. Okay, power is one word of describing it. Maybe we're really more mentioning the fact that it really inflates quickly.
It's much quicker. Yeah. However, it is a little bit more noisy. If that's something that concerns you.
It's a little bit bigger.
It is a bit bigger, and it also runs on a analog dial at the top here, which historically has been. They are very accurate. I'll give you that. However, it doesn't allow you to limit the pressure. So once you pull the trigger, you have to keep the trigger held to reach this pressure that you want. But it is a very accurate way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
we've got light on the front as well.
Yes, you do.
As you'd expect. Sorry.
Yes, you.
There you go. So light on the front here as well. Dual light also lights up the gauge at the top, and as with the other machine as well, we have a selection of the accessories built.
Same accessories you had on the EasyPump.
Yeah.
The cord or hose, that's 0.7 or 17 centimeters long.
Yeah.
More than enough length for you to put that on your tire, and you can probably have that at waist level, so you don't have to crouch and stoop all the time when you're using it. Again, it just makes it a little bit more comfortable to use.
And as with the previous pump, you can also get the accessory to fit onto this as well. So.
So a bigger machine, a little bit heavier, at 1.2 kilograms without a battery. But again, you're trading in compactness for speed. But as I always say, and I personally own the EasyPump, I really like that. It's a nice thing to have in the boot of my car. I use it for biking, keep it in the garage. But if you want a bit more power, don't worry. You've got the UniversalPump 18 to satisfy that need.
Yeah, the EasyPump in many respects has a lot more bells and whistles than this one here, especially the ability to set the pressure and then just press start and it does it all for you.
But as you correctly pointed out, because this inflates much quicker, you won't have to wait as long.
No.
So there's a good trade-off. So you can decide whatever works for you. If you've already got products on the existing products on the Bosch DIY 18-volt battery platform, hey, just add a universal pump to the range, use your existing batteries, easy as that.
There you go.
Easy.
Even if you've got the just got the batteries for maybe your home vacuum cleaner as well, because they also use the same batteries as this. So again, perfect purchase for you.
Yeah, and don't forget the Power for All 18-volt Alliance. So our batteries are compatible with a wide range of other manufacturers out there in the market. People such as Wagner, for example, Gardenia as well. And there's quite a lot of other DIY brands that are all running on the same Bosch DIY battery. So maybe you don't have a Bosch product, you might have one of theirs, maybe even a Flymo mower that's running on the Bosch battery platform, and then you could quite happily pop out and buy some of these Bosch power tools because they're all going to work on the same battery. We've made it as easy as that. How nice are we? Okay, so let's move on to a similar product, right, Dan? But it's not the same exactly. It's for a different kind of application. Should I grab something for you as well?
Yes, this is a high volume, low pressure inflator.
Right.
So
you get the product, I'll get the prop.
I've got to find it first. There you go.
Right, actually, you tell me, what have you got here first?
I have here the EasyInflate. There you go.
All right, so
I'll grab the accessories for it.
18V500. So EasyInflate 18V500.
Yeah. So basically, it comes with a couple of different accessories on here as well. But this is perfect for your inflating of inflatables, such as airbeds, for instance, or pool toys,
Festive donuts.
Or donuts.
Find my nipple.
It's around the back here somewhere. No, it's behind you.
There it is.
There you go. So
what's so the difference? I think I was too busy getting distracted by finding the prop. If you would explain the main difference between these two tools, in case you aren't aware, between a high pressure and a low pressure, high volume inflator.
Yeah, so this has got an impeller in it rather than a pump, and what this does is it sucks air in from here and pushes it out the front. So this is basically just an internal fan item. Don't let it down too much. Basically shifting air from one place to the other.
At high speed, so high volume but low pressure.
Low pressure. So this isn't for pumping your car tyres up. Obviously, you need high pressure to get through the actual valve to start inflating a tyre, for instance. With this, it's low pressure but a lot of air at once.
Yeah,
so it's perfect for larger, low pressure inflatables.
Yeah,
So,
festive donuts, pool toys. For me, camping beds, for example.
Yes,
that's the kind of thing.
Yeah. So we'll turn that on, and away it goes.
Well, you're deflating me.
Push it in the wrong hole. Right. So if I pop that on there, this will inflate.
Well, that's good. Good demonstration. You've shown that it does both.
Yes, because it's moving one air from one place to the other. This nozzle fits on either. So here we can inflate the donut.
Got it. Better.
Yeah, if you go the right way now. There you go. Actually, it's pretty quick. Really quick. I think we're about there.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's 530 litres per minute. So much more volume compared to the Easy and the Universal pumps. Because obviously that's what we're designed
That
for.
must be where the name comes from. So you've got a 500, but we've rounded it down from 530.
So 530 litres per minute. So that means you could pump this up from nothing in very little time.
Oh yeah, didn't take long.
For an inflator bed, again, you can pump that up quickly, but probably more importantly, once you're done, I'm going to get stuck now. Once you're done, you can then, as Dan points out, switch the insert or the holes,
Yep.
and then you could quickly
straight to the front.
quickly deflate that quite large. Maybe you've got a double air bed, and that takes quite a lot of time. You don't want to have that
rolling around on the floor trying to get all the air out of an airbed.
Yes, if it's a standard British summer, and you know what it's like out there, every time you're about to pack up your tent, you've emptied everything out, then it starts raining.
Yes.
And then you're trying to get everything out and deflated. Nothing worse than trying to deflate a sleeping bed or a camping bed in the rain, and you can't get it in your car otherwise. So something like this would make that easy. Right, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to.
Also comes in a little bag as well, so you can keep all of the little bits together. There you go.
A nice little addition, another 18-volt machine. Although yes, we did say we were going to do quite a few of the 3.6-volt machines. We don't currently have a low voltage integral battery inflator yet, but we will. But we do have the 18-volt one here. So again, we wanted to make sure that you saw it as a nice honourable mention if you wanted such a thing. Now, before we move on too much, I don't know. We may or may not have got any questions, Sophie, from the chat. Perhaps, again, we're just doing too good a job. So, nothing yet, no, Sophie? No, she's shaking her head at us, so we'll move on to the next section. We're going to get into some more traditional tap tools, maybe things people are more familiar with. One of the things we would like to talk about is going to be something that we've had for many years, but we don't talk about enough.
No. I'll grab the case. Okay. I believe you have the tool over there.
I have the tool here. So, first things first, this is our little push drive.
Yes.
This is a nice little integral battery, 3.6 volt. I don't know where you got an electric screwdriver. It's called a push drive because that's how you activate the machine. So, let's put it into forward. I'm just going to demo it here. Okay. And all I do is I apply pressure. It might be not heard on the mic there, but applying pressure to the machine activates it.
When you say electric screwdriver, just got to clear up the fact that it's not electrically voltage.
It's not a testing.
It's not a testing tool, or to be used on a live or potentially live electric circuits. It's electrically powered.
They ain't no. Better be sure. You never know. You don't want anyone electrocuting them. No, an electrically powered screwdriver. You can probably tell from the ergonomics that we've made it to quite closely mirror the manual screwdriver. And actually, you can use it like a manual screwdriver as well. So you don't have to have it running. You can put it in the middle orientation of that trigger there. So that's now not going to activate, and you can apply pressure and use that like a manual screwdriver. However, why would you? When you've got a nice little speed wheel on the back here, okay, forward and reverse mode, and that nice simple push actuation. It's a great little tool. Charging-wise, got a little micro USB on this one, so it's a little bit older technology. I'm sure this will get updated in a future version. We have seen some in the Pro range
Yes.
that are using USB-C. I'm sure the DIY range will join that soon. What else can we say about this? I mean, you get a nice little kit, don't you, Dan?
We do. Yes, comes with this little box here. Obviously, you've got space in the front here for the actual push drive itself. A little cable that sits in the end here. So this is your USB-A to micro USB cable. Even comes with a little plug for you to plug that in for your little adapter, get your power in there. And it comes with this nice set, actually quite an extensive set of screwdriver bits.
I think that's going to be pretty much that's probably all that most people need on their day-to-day applications.
It's even got the extension in here for you to extend the reach of the actual screwdriver itself, or pop it in a drill if you need to.
Grab me the extending bar if you can. I'll just show that it's got a simple 1/4 inch internal hex. Okay, and say, for example, the extension bar or the accessories, they simply slide in like that, and they are magnetically captive. They're not held on, which, to be honest, it's not necessarily a nice strong magnet. So nice and quick accessory changes. You don't need to be worrying and messing around with a tool holder. Simple as that, really. It's just a nice little feature. I mean, if it was a more Christmas period, I would say this is probably a really nice product. When's have we missed all the Mother's and Father's Days, but this is a great.
Oh, you got Father's Day coming up.
Oh, we got?
Yes.
Good. Well, there you go then. I think this would be a nice little addition for some Father's Day's presents for sure. I think we used to call it like a nice back pocket tool. You can always have it on you at all times whenever you need to use it for any light fixing work.
Originally, when this came out, they actually, over in the States, they launched this as a blue version as well. So it's professional level at that time. And a lot of people did purchase these literally as an alternative of a screwdriver. So shop fitters, for instance, would use this when it comes to putting shelving together. Just pop it in the back pocket.
So what could you use it for? Well, I mean, anything that needs fixing. So, for example, you've got flat pack. Maybe if you're taking off your kitchen doors to do some painting or sanding or whatever, really nice to have a tool like that just to quickly do some fittings, do some repair work. I mean, you can work on a lot of different things with this simple drive. It's not high torque. They've got plenty of power tools for that.
It does make it perfect. That reason, it makes it perfect for slotted screws, for instance.
Exactly.
So you're not going to something too fast and then you end up sliding out of the actual screw when you're trying to undo it. So something like this with a variable speed and also variable torque, makes it a lot more controllable.
Yeah, and another thing I quite like about it is removing screws. For example, obviously if you put it in reverse, you are pushing down to activate the machine. Something I've noticed, so with some of the less experienced users out there, is when they're removing screws, there's often a chance, and pushing screws in as well, sometimes there's a possibility that, those who are not used to using the tools might cam out.
Yeah.
They might chew the screw heads up because they're not applying enough force going in. And same thing in reverse. They're letting the screwdriver bit come out and it's chewing the heads.
Yeah.
Because of the way this machine works.
It eliminates that risk because you're always pushing the screwdriver bit into the head of the screw.
Maybe this will be a really good tool for if you've got some kids. Right? You want to get them into some power tools, into some DIY. This is a relatively nice, low-risk product, and it really teaches them some fundamentals on how to use a tool nice and safely.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right.
I want to do a little demo.
Oh, you're going to do a demo for me?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a small piece of wood here. Bear in mind, no holes in this piece of wood, no pre-drill. We're going to pop in maybe a couple of screws, just using the power of the machine.
Don't hurt yourself.
I shall try not to. Bear with us a second. I've just got to find the screwdriver bit.
Oh, do you know what? You let us know whether or not it would be interesting or useful. No, maybe not as a live stream. Maybe we could do a separate video where we can talk about all the different types of screws and the relevant accessories to use with them.
Very good point, actually. Yeah.
Because what have you got? You got some posies, right?
These are using the posi too. Obviously, there's two of those in that set, so they're regularly used. So they put two in there.
And no doubt, at some point, you're going to lose one of them. So I'll give you two just in case, because we know what will happen. Okay.
Right. So there you go. I'm gonna
a bit of pine.
Posi
2.
Posi 2. Oh, you can see there's plenty of power. That's turning me on the end of that. So.
I mean, you should pre-drill always, but more than enough power to sink that in deep.
Yeah. That's holding it like a screwdriver, but the issue, you can hold it like this. So
beer can style.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, that's so powerful you're splitting the wood.
Yeah, we're splitting the wood, yes.
So do
It's
not...
got a lot of grunt, this.
For a 3.6 volt screwdriver, do not worry about whether or not you've got enough power to do fixing work if that's going to drive that pilot hole less straight into pine.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, honestly, a nice little screwdriver, push drive to any of your fixings, any of your light fixing works. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, to a similar tool, but I bet everyone's going, ISIO. No, we're not doing ISIOs yet, but you aren't far off. We do something similar to an ISIO. Looks like it, but it isn't it. Yes. Now, this is one of the first tools I ever trained on, actually. This is the Universal Brush. I mean, guess what it does? It brushes.
It brushes, yeah. As well as other things as well.
Yes, it universally brushes stuff. So what this is again, a nice little 3.6 volt cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the styling actually for this is taken from the previous generations of ISIO as well. So really comfortable to hold. Simple operation.
Yeah, I mean, there's one button.
One button.
You cannot get this wrong. Succeeded.
Yes.
So I've proven I didn't get it wrong. One button, and you can see here you've got a, this is going to be a micro USB charging port. That's pretty much you've got all on this machine. The accessory holder, pop that off, is just simple as that.
Yep.
And then you've got different accessories. We'll go through the accessories in a minute, but you see here, you've got essentially what gives the name to the product. This is the brush attachment. Simply slots on, and then... So...
It's perfect for agitating material away when you're cleaning.
Yeah, football boots, that's a good example.
Yeah. Any boots, really, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, clean, football boots comes to mind for me, but yeah, like your wellies or whatever, you're just trying to get the mud off it. It's a mediumly, it's pretty firm brush there, so you could use that if you want to be quite aggressive. We've got lots of other accessories, so you don't have to use the more aggressive one. We have a soft brush, for example.
Yes.
I'm not saying you use that on your pets necessarily, but you definitely don't want to use the hard brush on them. But you've got a softer brush. We don't have one here in the studio, but we have soft brushes as well for if you don't something a bit more delicate that you want to clean. I can't think of any examples off the top.
Leatherware, usually quite good for cleaning leatherware, that sort of thing. Yeah, if you've got something, a dirty jacket or something, something like that.
Maybe the dog's come into the back of the car and made a nice little muddy mess or something, and you want to get that out. Maybe you might want the soft brush to get some of the material out or whatever.
Lightly ingrained, stuff like that,
Yeah, accessory-wise, we've got this little accessory here. This allows you to put other things. We call this a pad holder, so I'll pop the brush off quickly.
Just a hook and loop surface on the end there for you to add on some additional accessories. And
an example here, I've got an example of an abrasive heavy pad. It's the brown one here. So I can use that, as it says, for some heavy duty scrubbing. Okay, I could swap that out for what we got here, the microfiber. This one is the non-scratch pad. So
maybe if you Teflon pans, anything like that.
Something you don't want to mark up. So and we've made it nice and easy by making it nicely color coded. I've got a little green one here, very familiar to, I don't know, your good old kitchen scouring pad. That is our kitchen pad.
Basically, it's a scouring pad.
Now, the machine itself is not fully IP rated, so don't go dunking this under the water.
No.
But as long as you're responsible and safe, you can use that to do some cleaning. You could use that to clean some pads. Maybe if you're camping, you're only using a little bit of water and you want to give that a good scrub, and maybe you're a bit tired, you've got bad wrists or whatever, maybe you've got a bit of arthritis, right? This is a great substitute for that elbow grease that, works, but when you don't want to, you don't want to.
That's it.
So a nice little green scouring pad. What else have I got in here? I got this little white one, the melamine eraser pad.
Yeah, so
interesting.
if you've got some light marks on your, say your Conti board furniture or even worktops, for instance, if they're a plastic coated worktop, something like this will allow you to buff off any of those unsightly marks. Yeah,
there are a few other accessories which we've neglected to bring, but I do have the detail brush. So if you want a smaller, if you're working in a tighter area, we've got a little brush here. Again, it's a nice firm brush. We've also got a polishing pad, which we didn't bring with us. So if you are doing some light polishing, maybe some silverware, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that, you could use the polishing brush, and that rounds off the accessory range. The machine itself comes in a nice little box, a little case as well, so a nice little thing to...
This is the contents of the kit. I believe that the soft brush and the polishing pad are additional accessories.
That's right, yes. But you can see plenty of room.
Oh, there's plenty of room to keep stuff in there.
I've got a spare, very well used melamine razor pad there, but I can just pop that all back in there. So again, the
I think
universal.
those melamine eraser pads are probably good for polishing your shoes as well. Something like that.
Yeah, so that's the universal brush. A really nice little product. Comes with a very manageable RPM of 215. So 215 RPM. So not too much power. It has got force, but not too much. So you don't have to run the risk of losing control.
2 amp hour battery in that as well. So you've got quite a lot of runtime.
Plenty of runtime. And weight wise, it's 30 grams. It's nothing at all. 0.33 kilograms of weight, so very little. It does have an IP rating, so it's IPX5.
Splashes, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, yes, you don't want it to. Sorry. So to reiterate what I meant earlier, you don't want to be submerging that in the sink. No. I mean, it's not designed for it. But
and
you can
have a charging socket. It doesn't have a cover. For
exactly.
It well.
That's what makes it IP5 as opposed to 6. But if you do splash a bit of water on it, that's not fine. Give it a good dry off before you put the charging cable in, and you should be fine. Okay. So perfectly fine to use as it is intended as a little cleaner.
Yeah.
Nice little universal brush. Right, okay. As I said, the first tool I ever trained on was this little bad boy. So I do have some fond memories of it. Now, moving on to, wow, this is a completely different product. Something probably in your old wheelhouse, right?
It is, yes.
Like the pun?
Yeah, I know. Yes,
Oh, I got it in.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid acknowledging that. Right, so next product we have is the UniversalImpactDrive. So you've got the accessories for it over there.
Oh yes,
I have the machine here. The UniversalImpactDrive 18V-350.
350, that's
350 Newton meters of tightening torque on this particular product. Absolute powerhouse when it comes to tightening and also loosening threaded fastenings. And also, you can use it on screws as well because it does come with the adapter.
Let me complete it because I feel it looks weird without a battery. So let me pop that on quickly for you. There you go. That's
actually using one of the newer batteries, which we also
yes,
have a battery
I'm sure we'll get some questions about that. Yes, the new generation or the upgraded batteries, rolling upgrade on our lithium-ion DIY 18-volt batteries.
Yes.
So you kind of hinted at some of the specs. So 350 Newton meters of tightening force. That's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more than enough to tighten your wheel nuts. Well,
exactly. Something like this sitting in the boot of your car. That's all you need.
You've got a number of speed settings.
Yes, got 3 speed settings on this, easily adjustable. I've got break it up there. We can see maybe on the close up. There you go.
Yeah, so speed 3 is going to be your maximum RPM of 2,300. It goes down to 1,700 for speed 2, and then that final one you're on there, speed 1, you're down to 1,200 RPM.
Yeah.
So
that's speed 1. Speed 2. Speed 3.
Now they may or may not have heard that on the mics because we have auto gated. But trust me, the speed settings they do what they do what you expect it to do.
And again, also because you're limiting the speed, you're also limiting the torque in those settings as well.
So half-inch sockets. Sorry, half-inch tool holder for your half-inch sockets.
Yes. So the full fat kit comes with these 3 sockets here. Green represents half-inch drive. Obviously, these are half-inch drives. They go into the half-inch anvil for the machine. But the plastic coating around the outside here is specifically for alloy wheels, so it doesn't mark up alloy wheels when you're
I wish my garage was nicer to my alloys because they never do.
They don't seem to have these.
No, of course not. They never want to. So they're always marking mine up. But look, if you're going to be doing some of your own automotive, well, I don't even necessarily repair. Maybe you're just wanting to change your tyres out yourself. Yeah. Maybe you are in an area where it's relevant to change out to winter tyres.
Yes, exactly. The other thing to note as well, if you were to buy these through our professional range, you get the same ones.
Yep, so we're not, you're getting the best of the best.
They are professional quality impact sockets there. In addition to that, we also have, as I mentioned briefly before, a little adapter for 1/4-inch drive bits as well. So this one, you clip the 1/4-inch drive bits into the end of there. Underneath here, you have a rubber O-ring and a cross pin.
An easily losable cross pin.
It is. There you go. See, there's a hole that runs through the actual socket there. So you pop that on to line up with the anvil, which you can just see there, that hole. Pop that on, drop the pin through. The O-ring here locks onto the socket to hold the whole thing together. So not only have you got this friction ring here on the end, which is called the hog ring, you also have a secure lock on there for the adapter itself.
Yeah, so that sits over the hole, as Danny points out, to stop the pin from sliding out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but there you go. There's a 1/4" bit, so you can show if you obviously want to use this as more of a screwdriver for driving screws. It's got a lot of speed, so you can do that quickly, and you have that adapter there to put the screwdriver bits in.
So I'll get this on the close-up again. Quite simply, pull that part down, drop the bit in, and release it.
Yeah.
And there you go.
So we call that captive, so it won't fall
captive. That's not falling out of there. It's important to know as well, if you're using this particular adapter and using these 1/4" screwdriver bits, they must be impact rated. Because if not impact rated, this machine will just shatter them.
Yes.
So you must go for impact rated screwdriver bits.
And as you say, that's exactly...
Same with sockets as well.
Yep.
No chrome sockets on here.
And if you see on the close-up again, that's why I gave Danny the example there. If I turn it around very slowly, you'll see that there'll be a little impact there. Maybe you'll probably see that, but don't worry, trust us. That's what we use to denote an impact-rated accessory.
Yeah, we've got a full pro range of those.
Let's see if the overhead's going to... If you see if the overhead's going to play ball, just again, might as well use it. We never use it enough. There you go. See, impact-rated. So there's no mistaking the accessory you need to run for this product.
Yes.
Okay, great product. I mean... really good if you're, again, for what we've designed it for. We've obviously sold it as part of a kit to help people change all types of different car tyres.
Caravanning,
wheels,
for instance, and especially if you're towing a trailer or something like that, then having something to be able to change tyres or change wheels on the fly is something that's really quite critical. The last thing you want to do is end up with your caravan or trailer stuck at the side of the road, waiting for someone to bring you a spare tyre.
Yeah, of course. Okay, right, so now, I don't know if I mean, we were doing a live stream on handy helpers. Me and Dan, we like our cars. This would always be a handy helper. We would never want to be anywhere without some kind of impact, just in case we need to tighten or loosen something. This would make a real great addition to anyone's home.
Exactly.
Okay. Even if you're not using it for automotive, you'll find that very useful for building some of your DIY projects, just as a driver, a drill driver, screwdriver, whatever.
Yeah.
But just be aware, there's a lot of power there, so be careful.
Yeah, if it's even down to putting decking screws or in something like that, high torque applications for the longer screws, for the longer fixings. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to something else, a little less heavy duty.
The other end of the scale.
Other end of the scale, yes. But it's important, again, to say, if you're looking for a handy helper, there's nothing handier or helpier than the good old Bosch ISIO. And here we go. This is the current generation. This is the ISIO 7 or Generation 7. Our little, I mean, do I need to introduce this? Our 3.6 volt screwdriver.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see, what have I got here? I think I might even have, in one of my many drawers, look at that.
Oh,
here
wow.
we go.
Yes.
Look at this.
That's the Generation 1.
This is why it's worth joining the live stream. Look at this bad boy. This was the original Generation 1, the first ever lithium-ion power tool ever made to market, the ISIO Generation 1, 2003, I think.
Yes, 2003 with that one.
Yeah, a single 18650 cell went in here, and it was 1 amp hour back in those days. Not much changed. Well, I say not much, it's sleeker.
We've gone through a few different iterations with this, where the style has changed, but we've come back to what works best, and that's what we originally designed.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What we have done is improve it a little bit. So we have now made this a 2 amp hour cell.
Longer runtime.
Yeah, longer runtime. We have a nice little battery indicator on the top there. Let's see if it's already charged. It has. That won't light up there because there's nothing wrong with it. If it was flat, you would obviously get, I think it's a red LED pops up on that one.
If it's running low, it's a bit amp.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Ergonomics wise, again, I think this is one of the most comfortable tools for DIY. I don't use it like this. I think that doesn't feel quite right. I use it a bit more like that. That gives me a lot more control. And we've also sculpted the handle and the trigger to make it much more comfortable for running it either like that, or as I do, with just these 2 fingers holding the trigger.
Yeah, you've got insulated gripping surface all the way up here past the label. So again, it gives you an idea of more comfortable places to be able to hold the machine.
I feel like this is deliberate because my hand just fits into it just like that perfectly. You have forward and reverse. A little LED array on the front.
Yep. One of those is a more tighter angle, and the other one is more spread. So There you go.
Probably harder to see on the camera
Yeah,
there.
2 different lenses.
And as you can see, which is different to some of the older EasyRotak's, we have the ability to remove that nose cone. Not only if you get dirt there, you might want to clean around the LEDs, but it also allows you to run a wide range of accessories. Now,
Are we ready to go through them?
in one moment, I'll hint there. Dan will get it all prepared. There's quite a few, which we have talked about on I think we have talked about on a previous live stream. If we haven't, there's definitely video content out there. As you saw, it's got 2 little light LEDs there to help light up your application. Very important, because you will be using these in difficult spaces. You might not always be doing flat pack work and building stuff. You might be doing some renovation work in a cupboard or whatever, under the stairs or something. Having the light on the tool is great. It has a no load speed of 235 RPM, an RPM of 235, which means it's a nice controllable speed. It's not too fast. You don't want to go too fast. You want to have nice control over you're only screwdriving and fitting stuff.
I mean, it's not a professional grade tool. You're not in a rush, or at least you shouldn't be when you're doing DIY anyway.
Now, we would estimate on that 2 amp hour internal cell, you're going to get probably 190 normal size screws. Obviously, the bigger the screws, the less screws you're going to get. But your normal stuff, yeah, you're going to get well into the 100 and somethings, 190-ish, maybe even 200 screws on a single charge, depending on size.
I think you could assemble an entire kitchen with that.
Yeah, on a full charge. Yeah. And remember, it's lithium ion, so again, if it was to run out of battery somehow, eventually, pop it on charge. This one is the micro USB charging cable on the bottom here. Pop it on charge, have a cuppa, get some bickies on, and then carry on work. You won't even notice the amount of time, how long it takes to charge, because again, lithium ion means you can hypercharge this really fast, just like your smartphone. Yeah. Anything else? I think I get the little accessory set out before we move on. You get a nice little box. They come in different variations of this, but you can see nice little storage case. Okay, which fits it in quite appropriately. You see that on the close-up? Clearly, it's going to be hard to see. I'm going to read it out. So we love ISIO, of course we do.
Yes.
We're all Bosch ISIO lovers. You get a nice little extension bar and charging cable. There we go. And you get a nice, slightly smaller accessory set compared to the PushDrive. But
they are standard 1/4 inch, so you can
swap
buy as many 1/4 inch accessories as you like.
That's right. Into a nice, well in this case, a nice
dusty.
That's a bit, you can tell that's come from our workshop. Nice little box that you can store that. Pop that under this, I don't know, under the couch. Yeah. Under the bed, in a cupboard, ready to use. And again, remember, it's because it's lithium ion technology. You don't have to worry about that machine draining.
It's going to hold plenty of charge for a long time.
Exactly. So again, a nice little addition. Father's Day's coming up.
Yeah.
Buy some, save it for Christmas. See if you can get a good deal. ISIOs are always a really great investment for anyone. Anyone into DIY, hey, maybe some of those hobbyists, maybe those enthusiasts, you could do with a little screwdriver. Nothing wrong with one of these in your back pocket.
No, that's all.
Okay, right. So we've done pretty good, Danny.
Do you want to cover some of the accessories?
Oh, yes. Yes, before we move on, let's have a look.
If you weren't convinced already by the ISIO 7, if you pop the nose cone off here, we have an entire array of accessories that go on these. So, for instance, let's start off with the offset head. See, they literally just clip on.
Already love it. Already love it.
Yep. So what this does is it offsets the drive, so you can go right up against surfaces to drive screws, or up into corners as well. So again, for limited access, absolutely brilliant. This.
If we put down to the table here, you'll see there's a good example to show. Look.
Yeah.
Well, we cut to the other camera for a second, the other close-up. You see, look, right up against the back there. So again, if you're trying to drive a screw right up against the wall, offset's the perfect option, isn't it? I love it. I love it. I guess you only, but I guess you could say you can also put it on different orientations depending on how you.
Yeah, that's it. It's literally twist and pull off when it comes off.
Oh, I'll just leave it like that. So you can go on the side or on the top or whatever. Yeah.
So when it comes to removing an accessory, it's literally twist, pull. Really easy. And fitting is just pushing straight on. So really, really useful bit of kit, that.
I mean, in addition, it's got a captive holder for the accessory as well. So if you are finding that you're doing your applications and the screwdriver bits falls out and that's annoying, that means it won't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, what else we got?
Next, we have, this is personally one of my favourites, because obviously a lot of people are worried about power tools, obviously being a little bit torquey, and you don't want to twist your wrist or anything like that. This little accessory here, if I pop that on, gives you the ability to adjust torque settings.
And we've even made it nice and clear what we mean.
Yeah.
Nice graphics.
So longer screws, shorter screws. So if you have a longer screw, you want a higher torque setting. So you set that, and this would cut out at a later stage.
This will help you seat the screw perfectly.
Yes, exactly. So it dials back this clutch in here, which disengages the drive when you reach a certain tightening torque. So again, really, really useful piece of kit.
Yeah,
adding on one of the features that the ISIO hasn't had before.
That's right. And for those who aren't familiar with my phrasing, what I mean by seat the screw is often you want to make sure that the head of the screw is in line with the material. You don't want it too deep. You don't want to bury it too deep because it looks ugly and then you might have to fill it. You definitely don't want it proud because you'll catch clothing on it, you'll feel it. You want it absolutely plush. And with that adjustment there, you can dial it in perfectly. So you're going to do it every time. Nice consistency between your different things. Yeah. When you're working in some flat pack material, you've got to be careful because that chipboard material is quite delicate.
Yeah, you can easily tear thread out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this makes it a lot easier to dial that power in.
Yeah. It's important to mention as well, everything from, I think it was the ISIO going forward, will take these adapters.
Whichever one has that nose cone that comes off, yeah?
If it has a removable nose cone, these will just simply fit on there like that. So we've got the offset and we've got the little torque setting there. How about a carpet cutter?
Interesting. I have to reach for a professional power tool otherwise to use this.
Yeah, so there you go. You run that. Allows you the ability to cut carpet tiles or carpet. Nice and easy. Or even cardboard. Anything like that that you can get. If you can fit it in between there.
Pizza might be messy and challenging. I wouldn't recommend
I wouldn't go for that. It's got to be a thin crust.
Yes, exactly. I do not recommend. Do not quote me on that. Do not blame me if you attempt to do it. It won't damage at all. You'll just look like a fool. What else we got?
Right, so little carpet cutter. That was surprising for me. I didn't think we would go for something like that. We did. This is surprising because we talked about these earlier.
Why buy a universal shear when you can have an ISIO with an adapter?
A lot of similarities there between the blades on both of those machines. However, this one is run by the ISIO. There you go. Exactly the same.
Very polite. It's got a little shield just in case as well.
Yeah.
I like that too.
So that one pops off there. Now, verging on the ridiculous, we have the Vino.
This was very famous in the time. I can't remember when this was. Maybe someone in the background, someone in the studio will remind me when we brought out the Vino. But that's got to be like, what, 2008 or something, 2009. It wasn't a gimmick. It worked. And people used it and we sold loads of them. Gangbusters.
So literally just drops on there. It doesn't lock on this particular one. But again, we'll open a bottle of wine for you.
What time is it? 6:30.
Bit too soon.
Yeah, we'll leave it a little bit before we crack one open, yeah.
Again, you're tucking into your pizza that you may have tried to cut with the carpet cutter.
If you're too tired from all that DIY and lawn and garden work to get your peppermint out, we've got your little...
So a spice grinder. So you can use this for your salt, your pepper, anything you want to put in there. And there you go.
Outstanding. And lastly, my favourite, genuinely my favourite accessory, little barbecue blower.
This one, There you go. Again, for blowing your barbecue, I guess.
Sophie, I see Sophie's expression. She's like blown away, literally, pun intended, with the sheer like, wow.
Yeah. It does work though.
Barbecue really blowers, but like all jokes aside, even useful around the campfire to get that kindling going. This is the perfect tool. Saving you having to go down there, all fours, getting a lung full of dust. Pop that down there, get your fire going, whatever. I love it.
Yeah.
So,
really versatile bit of kit.
All jokes aside, some of these, if not all of these, have some kind of use. And if you've already bought an ISIO, why don't you just get a few little accessories just to expand the functionality of what is already a really great little 3.6 volt screwdriver.
All available as additional accessories.
Yeah. Cool. Right, so I think we might have come to the end of our live stream. So I hope you've enjoyed this session. Before we finish, of course, we should double check whether or not we've had any questions from the chat, Sophie.
Yes, so we've been asked, will Bosch be making an 18 volt or 36 volt scarifier?
Good question. It's a good question. We've been asked about that for professional as well, actually. Now, I've not seen anything on the roadmap showing a new scarifier.
Now, we did have the Verticutter, which was as close as we got to it. Not sure whether that's still in the range at the moment. I believe if you check the website, you'll see it's on it. Just search for Verticutter. And what this does, it has multiple blades that basically chop away. It's designed for dethatching, removing of moss, that sort of thing. Don't get it confused with the rake.
Yes.
Because they look almost the same, except one's obviously got the tines, one's got the blade. If you need the rake, don't buy the VertiCut.
Yeah, different machines.
It will, you will be a little disappointed.
Now, this week, Danny and I are very fortunate that we're going to a really big event near Stowmarket, which is where all the lawn and garden machines are designed by our engineering team. Because remember, all the lawn and garden products for the DIY range and professional are created and are indeed developed in good old UK, Stowmarket. We've got a lovely little event, literally this Thursday, where we're going to go down and be presented with hopefully a whole range of new products.
Looking at next year's portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
so maybe we'll see some of those machines, maybe a Scarifier, who knows? We don't know. That's why it's a big secret if we are allowed to tell you. And if you join us for the next live stream on the DIY Live, maybe we can give you some secrets. So there's your incentive to come back for the next live stream, because maybe we'll have some great information in regards to what's coming out for Bosch DIY Lawn and Garden coming out in the future. Yeah.
But I think last words on the Scarifier, definitely take a look on the website for the VertiCut. But just be aware that there's two machines that look very similar.
Okay, so any other questions, Sophie, before we finish up? Nope, I think that's it. So we've done just shy of about an hour and a half. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Hope you enjoyed the session where we showed you all the different mowers. I hope that's beneficial. If you're making a lawn mower purchase in the next, I don't know, next few weeks, months, hopefully that's made it easier for you to choose which one of the really excellent corded Rotaks that we've got in the range, and so you can decide which one is the right one for you and your lawn. We've shown a whole range of nice little handy helpers that maybe you can add to your little lawnmower purchase, or maybe you can find a great use. Anything else, Dan?
No, I think that's got it all covered. Again, obviously, if there's any other questions, pop them in the comments under the live stream when it becomes a video, and we'll get back to you, hopefully with some answers for those.
Okay, so thank you very much for myself. And Sophie, any passing comments?
Thank you very much for joining. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.